Take the day and take it with you and spread it. Because what we got to do is get, what this judge down here is explaining the power of the grand jury. If you ever pick for a grand jury, you got to understand your power. Your power supersedes that of a judge. It supersedes that of the district attorney. You got the power. When the district attorney working out to I need you to say, listen, man, back your behind up before I say, I'll tell you what, you and the judge go take lunch. We'll get with you when you're through. That's the power of the grand jury. But they don't tell you that.
No.
They don't tell you that.
So what's our next strategies? Mm-hmm. Because Mr. Nelson, as you saw, they did not respond to the questions we asked from the city attorney.
You need to be able to do it now.
Yeah, you'll do.
But I gave
Come on
you
up here, Mr. Nelson.
I gave you your next thing.
Come on up here. He's doing
What is he doing?
He's doing like a filming us.
Yeah. This is George Ryan for the Ghetto Free Press.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Boston.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me get you a chair.
Yeah.
Take mine. I'll get mine. I'll rotate the lever that he sent back.
Well, our demands were basically they addressed the policies, practices, and procedures that are in place that continue to be a hindrance and a detriment to our community.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that law enforcement, particularly trainings and everything, hiring practices, everything that they talk about, do not include us in being a part of the hiring procedures,
Mm-hmm.
The assessment of their records, what they view in terms of hiring and employment,
Mm-hmm.
how the background checks and how it may be not suitable for employment and a detriment to the citizens of Kingsland and the county as a whole.
Okay.
But more importantly, how the particular entrenched policy, practices, and procedures have continually,
Okay.
as I say, kept us down and do not give any pathway toward anything positive, productive to change all of the issues that have led to the issue involving Tony Green, and has not projected a preventive measure in correcting it for our citizens and our young people especially. So here we are in continuation, and we've got a chronologue of incidents and issues that have shown this particular pattern and how it has led to where we are right now. So how do we become a part of the change that we're asking for, and how we become a part of the community and the practices and procedures that we need to be involved in to effect that change and to have the best opportunity to prevent another issue of like what just happened in that sense. So how do we get a seat at the table? How we become involved in in those particular decision making? You know, where are we? Do we, what are some of the committees that need to be formed for us to have an effect on those things in our community? You know, are we looking for a diversity group, a very diverse group of individuals on a committee that look at the hiring practices, that look at the backgrounds of potential applicants or employees, not just law enforcement, every other entity in Kingsland and the county as well, that looks at disparities in the education system, that looks at disparities in employment of us in the county, that gives an opportunity to get involved in those particular practices. You know, we look at how we can get equal and adequate representation in all these areas.
And I heard you mention the school system. City ain't got nothing to do with the school system.
That's true.
The city right now?
City ain't got nothing to do with the school system.
The city made, well, if we don't want to mention that, however.
I know you mixing apples and oranges. Go ahead, your main subject here.
Well, okay.
Going at the county, then say the county.
That's true.
Well, okay.
So we want to go after the city?
That's what you're going at.
Diversity.
City, well,
Yeah.
city first.
Preventive measures, policies, practices,
What you want, a biracial committee to oversee all hiring and firing in the city.
Okay.
That's what you asked for. You want to be able to, because of their negligence, is because of what happened to this man.
Right.
See, and we see that you all don't have the power to do it because you didn't do it. So we can't trust you anymore.
That's right.
We need somebody to be over you.
Over the committee.
What y'all referring to? Excuse me for cutting y'all off. Is about it's called a citizen review panel or
Right.
citizen review
board. Yeah.
It's actually been in place in a lot of city governments. Fulton County, Atlanta does it,
Yep.
where the actual citizen review panel or review board can actually fire police officers and make the decision. So just what you do is start researching those people that has them in place.
Yeah.
And I have to just research of Fulton County how they citizen review board operate. But I'm gonna tell you who the person to get in contact with that, Reverend Pharrell Malone.
Oh yeah.
Reverend Pharrell Malone is an expert at setting up those citizen review panels or boards and stuff out of Waycross, Georgia.
I'm trying to get him to come at the end of September when we have this big get out and vote.
So I got his number and stuff if you need it.
Okay, I do.
For
I need it.
And but what you can do is I was telling y'all last night, you have an absolute right as a citizen that your government agency, whether they local, national, or what, to answer to you.
Mm-hmm.
They have an absolute. You have absolute right, and they have a responsibility to answer to the citizen and to them. And if you can't get the mayor of them to talk or do anything or even sit down, I suggest them to have a public meeting with just the citizens, the citizens, what y'all call them, Camden County citizens, concerned citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Just for us.
Just
have us some meeting and see if they do that. If they don't, then you tell them, well, then we'll do it by writ of mandamus in that Superior Court, in front of the Superior Court judge, that you have to answer the citizens.
Well, we need to do that anyway.
The citizen, a writ of mandamus is to force public officials to inform the duties that's entrusted to them.
Mm-hmm.
And any citizen can file it.
Right.
How many times you say you appear? You said 4 times?
4 times. Yes, sir.
Before the city council?
4 times.
And we submitted the letter of demand after the second meeting.
After the second meeting.
With them, and they gave a response. I tried to print that thing on.
Yeah.
But they will respond to that citizen review, that writ of mandamus. they're gonna respond inside the Superior Court.
You was gonna give me how to lay it out.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
okay, so I guess we skip the education component right now. However, but in projecting what we want, we also want some formulated things in place to aid in the preventive measures in those situations that involve our young people as well. So, are we going to? And I'm saying the city of Kingsland can very well do that. They can legislate that. The city council is a legislative body, and so what we're saying, especially when we're talking about reapportionment, they can legislate something like that. When we're talking about having activities and events that begin to bridge gaps in the city with law enforcement and every other entity, especially involving our young people, bringing them, making them feel a part of the community and bringing awareness with them to the community, a civics course or something like that they can very well do. This is the kind of things that we want. Now, the Civilian Complaint Review Board is a construction that you need to construct it, and we'll get that, how you put it together. I'm somewhat familiar with it on that sense, but how many, we need to construct how many people we want on it, and those particular things we want to be a part of, as was just stated, hiring and firing practices, background checks, things of that nature.
So what you can do is you can set up a citizen review panel now. But what you do is once you get it set up, that's when you bring it to the city government and say, all right, now we want to be a part of the government. We don't want to be separated from the government. You can set up, y'all got that now with the concerned citizens.
Yeah.
Just get aboard. And this is what y'all going to do. And if we want to meet with y'all, that we want to bring this to the one that we have input. And they can't say it can't be done because it's been done all over the country now. In the state of Georgia, everywhere. Citizens having, the government's having citizen review panels. Especially in Atlanta. I know about 4 different departments in Atlanta got it set up. Fulton County and all that there. Like I said, I got a couple of them. I can just look back on my flash drive and I can send it to you. And like I said, Reverend from Malone has been very outspoken and doing stuff like this all over the city of Georgia to get this set up and getting everybody done like it's supposed to. But you can set it up. I mean, yeah.
Now, does the people have to be citizens of the city in which they want this board, the citizen review board?
And that I wouldn't know directly.
That's what because see what I'm looking at here, he live in St. Mary,
Right.
he live in Kingsland.
Well, actually, if you set it up like the charter, it's similar to the city.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Then yes, it would have to be one in Kingsland.
Yeah.
And then one.
I have one for the whole county.
Or you can have one for the whole county.
Okay.
That has the implement all the cities. Yeah.
So what
That's how you would have
as
to do
opposed
it.
to
Okay.
Terminology of city civilian complaint, would that cover that particular component of that?
Well, they have to answer. One thing about it, you notice that the city council never responds when y'all do it in private. I mean, in public. In person, because they don't have to.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But they do have to respond. You see, they responded to their level.
Yeah.
They have to respond to those levels.
I do. They have a
You know what I'm saying?
responsibility. That's part of their duty.
Yeah, they got to respond to those levels. But like I said, it's all kind of stuff you can do, man. You just got to get people involved, man, and get it done. Get some young people in there, man, too, man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's
you gotta
why
get some
you
young
have
folks
to.
in there, man, because the young folks is what's catching it.
Right.
All of us gonna die.
Right.
And I'm just saying, all of us gonna die because if we don't get it into the young folks, then when we die, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's lost.
That's
What
right.
happened here?
That's right.
That's what happened here.
Sure
It's
did.
gone.
We had this county would never been like this.
No.
But all that paperwork I found today, once that stuff hit all the news media tomorrow, y'all gonna see a whole different ball game.
Well, and that's why I said we want to have an avenue of inclusion and find a way. And like right now, there should have been something already done or steps right now where we say, okay, we have this going on, and you have not given any indication that you would support this. So here's our next move, or here's our next step in that. What we're talking about. By that, what I'm saying is that when we did the letter, we had one. Was it Dave that said he would be willing to meet?
You're right.
He would willing to meet. However, that didn't transpire. So we needed to follow up on that. We got, we should have initiated the date to speak with that one councilman because he said he would.
He did.
And we should have gone and done that. And when that didn't happen, then we moved to our next step.
Okay.
On that sense.
So you want to send a letter today now?
Absolutely. That's why I said that. If someone responded that they would, we should have jumped on that right away. Irregardless of what may have come out of that, good, bad, or indifferent, then we were able to, assess that, see what we had, and move from there.
Okay.
In that sense.
I'm gonna another thing y'all can do. Now, Pastor, you know what I sent you about what people don't know, that Camden has a Camden County Judicial
Board,
Judicial Commission.
Yeah.
Judicial Qualifications Commission.
Yeah, they have a commission that all the heavy hitters on there. Y'all can address them with this. Then you got the judge, you got Jackie Johnson, the chief judge, you got the probation, the chief probation, the sheriff, everybody, all the powerful people elected are on that panel. And I was supposed to be speaking against them, but they are actually.
You're talking about the Camden County Judicial Council.
Judicial Council. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
I'm
on that board.
Yeah, he's on the board. He's on that board.
Oh, you're on the board?
Yeah, he's on the board.
Yeah, but I was supposed to be addressing the board about this situation, but they canceled. They sent me an email. Jackie Johnson is the chairman. They want to reschedule the Jake. The DA is the chairperson. They got all the judges, all the chief judge on there. They got all the the mayor himself in there. The mayor on there. Another one of the city council members on there. But you just look it up online, you see who all on there. Chief probation officer.
He can tell you that.
Chief of police, the Kingsland police chief, and the
sheriff. Police chief.
Yeah, and the sheriff.
The sheriff. All the judges.
Yeah, all of them. That's where all your heavy hitters are.
That's you on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the advocate.
The citizen. Okay.
The one help.
Well, see, that would be so much more powerful because you got all the heavy hitters there. Let's do a citizen review panel or a review board that handles city and the county where we can come in and step in and have some say on the hiring and firing and punishment of law enforcement or any public official that oversteps their bounds.
Right.
And that's what it was designed for.
Now, if you read and see this, what
is it called? Judicial. What is it called? What's the name of it?
Camden Criminal Justice Council. When did that is?
Camden County Justice Council.
Oh, Justice. I thought it was Camden Criminal Justice. Yeah.
It's the council. I'll tell you.
I've been on it ever since it started.
Yeah. And like I said, what it was supposed to do was just like what he said. It was supposed to address those things that negatively impact the criminal justice system that need to be addressed.
Y'all all right with me?
Good morning.
Your wife here?
No, man.
Hey,
what's going on?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so
Camden County John Council.
We're just trying to come up with, I know it's the last minute, trying to come up with our next strategies of what we're doing. Mr. George is here covering what the media won't cover. And we're just trying to come up with our next strategies. Mr. Bobby Worthy has went today and filed 3 different warrants, Kenneth Smith, Day, and Chief Griffiths. Okay. About them overstepping their power. Well, the mayor and Day have a public debt. And having a public debt, you're not supposed to serve. And this is big as they're on the Georgia website. That they are late on their fees. They are
about 3 years late.
3 years late.
It's called the Camden County Justice Council.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I mean, Camden Criminal Justice Council.
Criminal
Justice Council.
Oh, excuse me, you talked about writing a letter?
Yes, sir.
If I'm in place, and I like to be brief and on point,
yes,
that's a habit of mine. I try not to go too far left and right, come down the center. To be brief, that letter, in my most humble opinion, because you said that this is your 4th time.
Yes, sir.
In that letter, and I know you know how to address it, but I'll file, if it was me, I would go to the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, make sure that that letter is a tight history of what you have done.
Okay.
And then, then state that this is what we've
So
done.
say that again now. How you saying?
Every time you went, everything that you asked for, including the other night, I watched how you laid that out.
Yes, sir.
So beautifully. The way you laid that out, lay the other meetings out the same way, and show a pattern of your historical account of
Historical
your efforts as a community. So they want, whoever picked that last letter up will have no doubt that you have done what you were supposed to do, and that they ignore you, unlike what they was elected to do. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So a historical count of our efforts.
Yes.
I like that. Chronology.
That's the word. That's the word.
Okay.
Or y'all can just run up in there.
Yeah. We're gonna get on that letter.
China some laugh.
I'll get on that tonight. And we'll send this out again to all of them. Mayor and City Council.
So, now the letter's dated for tomorrow. Why was that?
Right. You saw that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm right.
Well, they sent it to you yesterday?
No, Friday.
They sent it to you Friday.
Friday.
But it's dated for the
29th.
29th.
Yeah, right. You noticed that too?
I don't know why.
Me neither.
Why is that? But if I'm gonna step back a second in terms of that letter. You want to answer each paragraph, like you said, in the letter, and related to each demand we had as we listed it to them first and foremost.
Right.
And then secondly, because we're filing this, was it, not the mandamus, right? We're doing the writ of mandamus?
We're gonna do that one. Yes, sir. We are.
If
Before the next City Council meeting.
okay, so then,
I think the
if
next
we're gonna
one.
address that, then you're gonna address it with the writ of mandamus, is that right?
That's right.
So
The next
that'd be
meeting is,
next meeting.
It's September the 10th.
And then I now know why they canceled the CCJC meeting, because you were on the
Pretty
agenda.
much.
Yeah, he was on the agenda.
You asked to get on the agenda?
Yeah. That's why she emailed me and told me it was canceled.
You said something. You said something right in there that I think you need to include in that letter. I mean, because I'm retired military, and I don't know why you date letters like that.
Right.
So I would even question that,
Okay.
just for the professionalism of. It may not carry no significance, but that's something that I'm not used to doing that.
Me neither. A whole week in advance.
Right.
Like that. So how do we address this this grand jury situation? And what can we do about that, Judge?
Well,
Take him a little now.
I personally was hoping that when we get through this, we could let him take the table there so we can record him, and I can edit all this out.
The judge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let him just talk on that, as well as give it to you that way. That way, it will be like it'll be going into a phase 2 of the meeting. Then after we can come back to another or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
So before we do that, you have that now. If we're requesting seats at these tables, and we want to establish these committees and citizen groups, what would be the first one we would want in place? Like yesterday.
Yeah. The one about the
We have
fire.
concerned citizens of Camden County, so
Right.
that in essence,
Should be on all of them.
right, which one will, the more immediate one? We
In
have
the
the
city.
concerned citizens of Camden County, which
Right.
you're saying is
But we need a
Citizens
city.
Review Board in essence.
Yes.
If
I'm under the impression that it was Mr. We say Terrell, who is the expert on the Civilian Complaint Review Board?
on the way now,
Mr. Pharrell Malone.
Pharrell Malone.
Pharrell Malone?
Yeah, my past experience on those is that it always included one person from law enforcement in some capacity when you're addressing things of that nature. So
Right.
maybe we'll get a little bit more clarity and direction on that, but that's been my experience with that.
yeah, and I had it too. I had one that they wanted to set up, and the only way they wanted to set it up, they wanted to have a member of law enforcement as the head. No, it ain't gonna
It
work.
doesn't have to be a head, but
Yeah.
I know they have to be included.
Included.
Yeah, but it definitely can't be law enforcement because they're trained to watch us. And I said
Exactly.
something the other day, and I meant,
Code of
and
silence.
I said it in a way of joking, but it's true. And it's just like this: if there is such thing as good law enforcement officers, then how can it be such thing as good law enforcement officers if the good law enforcement officers are not exposing the bad
The bad
ones?
ones.
So there can't be no good ones.
That's right.
Because, and then they got a code of ethics that you must expose corruption where corruption do. That's your code of ethics that every governmental services in the state of Georgia has to go by. You must expose corruptions where corruption is.
That's right.
But none of them do it. Instead, they live by creed, and even that you show them they put up these Bible verses. They are God's chosen people, and I say it all the time. Stop saying that because you're not God. The Bible is not talking about y'all
That's right.
when it says that.
That's right. Okay, so we're gonna let the judge come and give his your talk on that. Mr. Judge.
That